Good evening. Thank you for joining Basement Politics with Freddy Vazquez. Tonight's guests, Republican candidate James Nolan, Westchester County Legislator for District 15, will be joining me now. Please help me welcome him in.
Hey, how's it going, Freddy?
Good morning. I'm sorry, good morning. Good evening. I just finished putting my kids to bed. Well, trying to get them to bed. And they drive me crazy. I'm all over the place. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts now. But good evening, James. Thank you for joining me on Basement Politics again for the second time. How are you this evening?
Good. You?
I'm doing just fine. Just fine. Now that I got myself together here and got the kids to bed. I want to start out by saying congratulations to you on your recent engagement. You made the announcement, you got engaged. Yes. So I want to say hello to your fiance and just send my well wishes to her. And again, I want to make sure he congratulated you. And, the wedding comes after that, right? And then, then the kids, right?
Yes.
At some point. So you'll understand what I'm talking about, trying to gather them up and then put them to bed and stuff. So it's a great thing that I wouldn't trade it for the world. But you'll be hopefully one day doing that real soon. But anyway, I wanted to get into it right away with you. I've been seeing you all over. I've actually seen you walking and campaigning. I've driven by you. I honked one time. I think I mentioned that to you. Yeah. But I've seen you out there. I've seen your team out there. I've seen the vehicles with the posters out there. So I want to mention that right away. You are working hard. You are campaigning hard. And that just shows a lot of your work ethic and what we can possibly see of you if elected. Tell me a little bit about what's been going on recently.
Well, we've been doing door-to-door tremendously. That's where it's at. Since the beginning of my campaign in February, we've now done about 26,000 doors now.
Wow.
We're actually on our second and third go-around in many of the parts of the district. We've had a lot of volunteers. We had a lot of people that are involved. I have 13 union endorsements. I think that's probably the most in Westchester County now. For any type of race. And it's an honor to have my fellow union members, supporting me on this. And it's been going very well. We get great feedback. I have lost 15 pounds doing this walking. There's sometimes I do an average about 7 miles of walking every weekday. Wow. Weekends, I'm minimum 20 miles a weekend. Wow. Going door to door, meeting constituents, meeting people, just hearing their concerns, doing what we can to be active. And it's going very well. Hard work is paying off.
Yeah, definitely working hard and dedication. That's one thing that I see in you. You're dedicated. You're going out there every day. Like you said, you're walking 7 miles during the week. That's coming. That's after work, right? So you're going to work. Before work. And then you're going to work. Right. Yep. And then you're doing some more work. And then on the weekends, you're doing 20 miles of walking.
20 miles. And then
I gotta say,
if I'm not out there, I have team members out there while I'm working or while I'm at our events. We have a great team that they do what they can and what they have to. In many of the areas, they'll go walking. So it's a great team effort.
Absolutely. And I was just going to mention that your team is just as dedicated. I saw I saw a gentleman. He was driving, I believe, a van. And maybe the sign had fell off it or something, but he pulled over and he was making sure that he got that sign back on there and it was tight and he kept it moving. And I was just like, wow, look at the dedication. I see your guys out there more than anyone else. I don't see any other candidates really out there. I'm not saying they're not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is that you're out there so much and your team is so dedicated and out there that I'm seeing them all over the place. I have seen Moranti's signs and his, the vans and stuff driving around. So I've seen a couple, but you are definitely out there. So I just wanted to mention that, really highlight that, because I think it's important for anyone that's elected to have that work ethic and that dedication to what they're doing. And that's a good sign of things to come if elected. I wanted you just to give me kind of an overview of the area that you are or would be representing if elected. I know you represent some of Yonkers and some and Bronxville, but give us a more detailed idea.
So it's all of Bronxville. It's basically the parts of, like, say, Central Avenue, Tuckahoe Road, Palmer Road, Jackson Avenue, all the way up to Untermeyer Gardens. We have a big district. There's almost about 39 to 40,000 people in the district, and those are the areas that we're covering.
Well, and that's a lot of area. You said all of Bronxville, correct?
Yes.
That's a lot of area and a lot of Yonkers. And I've seen your guys. And I also want to mention, along with hard work, I want to mention that you haven't been elected yet, but that's not have stopped you from pushing forward and getting legislation passed, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of that stuff that you've actually been working on and worked on recently. I want to talk about particularly like the noise ordinance, right? And I've mentioned this because I said I was very grateful for this. I'm someone that was being affected by the noise ordinance and the drag racing on Central Avenue, and you fought hard for that. Tell me a little bit about that.
So after my brother's death in 2015, Yonkers created a law that said that if you're caught drag racing, if you're involved in organizing it, putting together, promoting it, funding it, your car will be confiscated. You're going to face up to 2 weeks in jail. Your car is going to be sold at auction. You're going to hit with a fine. And it was a bad situation. You know, these are things that should not be occurring. This is not Fast and the Furious, you know. And so that we pushed hard on that, and Yonkers passed it in 2017. From there, last year alone during COVID, you know, there was a lot of free time, you know, besides working in the community, doing what I can for frontline workers, union workers, people that needed seniors, homeless. I was pushing the law. So I was pushing the law, and I had it passed in 7 other municipalities, including White Plains, Greenburgh, Yorktown, Tuckahoe, you know, and it goes on from there. So we have 8 municipalities in Westchester that have that law. So then that was the first one. After my brother's death in 2016, I was asked by Yonkers Police to come on to a gun tip hotline. So a gun tip hotline, it was spending $500 per illegal gun to get it off the street. When I got onto the program, I didn't care where I was or who I was talking to. I was putting it out from my nonprofit events. I was going down to like School Street, Slow Bombs, wherever I could to put this out and talk about it. I ended up actually doubling the amount of guns taken off of the street. Illegal guns. Illegal guns are the biggest thing. Let's say I'm all for someone having a Second Amendment right, as long as they're responsible. But the illegal guns are hurting and killing innocent people every single day. So those are the guns we were targeting, and it was so successful that we took it statewide. And after 3 years of pushing, it finally passed as a statewide program. I also was able to work on the gun ghost law, where it's now illegal to build a gun through a 3D printer. I was happy to move on because, again, it's an illegal gun. It's not traceable. It doesn't have the numbers on it. You know, we don't know where it's coming from or who is responsible for it or who does it belong to. I was also a part of organ donation laws. So one of the laws was, so say if you sign up as an organ donor, and you put it on paper that you want to donate your organs. Unfortunately, when the time comes, there have been people where their families have gone against that and not done it, where people were left waiting or died while waiting. So now there's a law that says that once it's in paper, once you sign off on it, then nobody can change that decision. Like, once you're an organ donor, you're going to be an organ donor. Nobody can change that decision once your time comes. So these are things that I've worked on. I'm very proud of them.
And you should be. And that's why I wanted to mention them, because I think it's important. It shows that you are someone who can get things done. It shows that you're someone who follows through. And the reason why I think it's important of highlighting these things is because I am someone that advocates in voting on someone, not because of the party that they belong to, not because they like them, their personality, or because, you know, whatever other reason, but because of their track record. What have they done? What are they doing? Are they going to be someone that's going to go in there and really fight hard and push legislation that is going to be for the people and benefit the people and actually follow through, right? And not just talk about it, but actually be about it. And you've shown that prior to being elected. You haven't been involved in politics prior to this, correct? This is
No.
your first shot at this is your
Yeah.
first time campaigning, and you're really showing a lot to me anyway. And this is my opinion, right? But you're showing a lot to me, and you're showing the poise and the characteristics of a seasoned elected official, and someone who's truly going to be there to work for the people and represent the people. And I believe in you. I talk about you all the time. I truly do. This is not just me saying this for whatever other reason, but to speak honestly about my opinion, how I feel about you. Again, I wanted to go back to the 3D printing thing. Is that really something that should be concerning to, and I'm not saying it, I don't really know much about it, which is why I'm asking. I've seen as you worked on legislation for that, is that something that's a concern, or that's going to become a concern, or you see it, being an issue we should be concerned with?
It was a concern. I know there was different situations, I don't think necessarily in New York, but in different states, where people were building these illegal guns on a 3D printer, and they're not detectable if you go through a scanner or stuff like that. So it was a concern, and I know there were times that they said, listen, if you want to be able to do this, you got to put a serial number on it. People push back saying, well, that's not fair. That's, so it's illegal. It's a serious problem because it's a gun that we can't be traced. We don't know who it belongs to. We don't know where it's going, what it's doing. And like I said, I'm all for someone's rights, constitutional rights, but if it's coming down to it, it's putting people in harm and risk. That's something that I can't allow. And I know this from an instance from being in a circumstance where I lost my brother to illegal gun violence. So I don't want nobody to go through this. It's not fun. It's a horrible thing. We just passed on his 6-year anniversary, and it's a tragic thing. And I don't want nobody to go through that. If you want to have a gun, be responsible for it, so be it. You want to have it for hunting or protect your family, as long as you're responsible. It's not my worry. The illegal guns are what are hurting people, and that's what we're trying to crack down on.
And I agree with you there. I agree with responsible gun ownership. I'm a big proponent of that. I believe that responsible gun owners, should be allowed to have, licensed firearms. And I agree with you. 3D printing of guns is a dangerous thing. It's a concern that everyone should have, that someone can just print up a gun and use it to kill someone. That's a very real concern. And I'm glad that you're on it and you're working on that stuff. Again, that just further shows who you are and what you're doing and the things that you're thinking about in terms of our safety and the safety of your constituents and the people of Yonkers, Bronxville, and Westchester as a whole in the state of New York. And I also want to go to talk about a little bit about the noise ordinance, right? I'm a guy that loves cars. I love loud exhaust on cars. Usually the ones I'm driving are custom, not custom, I'm sorry, stock.
Yeah, I saw one of them.
Yeah, they're not custom. Well, actually, that one had a little work on it, but usually they're loud even when they're stock, right? But I also understand, the loud, annoying, irritating, and bothersome noise that some of these custom exhausts have, and that people are putting on them, and driving them up and down Central Avenue late at night, 12 o'clock. I know. Again, I was having to deal with that for a while until I believe you came along, right? So, tell me a little bit about that noise ordinance law that you helped push forward.
Well, it's part of the drug racing confiscation law that we had passed back in 2017. It's a part of it that, if a police officer is called or just comes across someone that has a really loud exhaust, that they have the right to issue a summons. And if the car is modified, and because it's about the quality of life. You hear this 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's kids that can't sleep, or people that have to get up in the morning, or listen. There's a time and a place for everything, but 1 o'clock in the morning that's not the time and place. Right. It's been very effective. It's been working. Actually, my opponent's trying to undercut me right now with a $125,000 study that's just wasting taxpayer money. It's not including that the cost of the equipment, the manpower, everything else, so that nothing's going to come from it. It's just spending $125,000 on studying loud cars. We could better use that money in different situations for better purposes, especially coming out of COVID. So there's